Do you see me?
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of the unveil of Dragonkin The Banished. This is a brand new isometric action RPG built on Unreal Engine 5. It's not a rogue, it's not an auto battler, it's not a Souls-like. This is a full-on hack and slash. So think Diablo-like, Exile-like, Epoch-like. This is a new entry coming to ARPGs, and I'm very excited to show this off in my first impressions video. Now, Dragonkin The Banished is coming March 6th to early access on Steam, and the retail price will be 25 bucks, but I think they're gonna do a discounted launch price for, I don't know, the first week or a couple days when it drops. And I gotta tell you, I think this game is actually gonna have a decent splash. I know a lot of people have never heard of it or didn't even know there's another ARPG coming, but I think I'm gonna be able to sell you on it today. Now, right off the bat, the first thing I wanna talk about is the visuals in Dragonkin The Banished. Now, when you think of graphics or visuals, what is the best in the ARPG genre? Most people would say Diablo 4. Most people would say Path of Exile 2, and kind of the controversial one, we're not talking about if the game's fun or good, but the CryEngine on Wolcen Lords of Mayhem still holds up when it comes from a visual perspective. And it is my opinion, after sinking my teeth into Dragonkin The Banished, this will instantly be one of the most gorgeous games you will play. The Unreal Engine 5 pops in Dragonkin, and it looks really, really good. I even had to lower some of the settings to make sure I got a smooth recording today. So I had to like bring down the frames a little bit, set it to 1440, but this game at 4K looks gorgeous. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take you through some of the systems, and we're gonna talk about Dragonkin now. I know a lot of people want to see combat, and I promise we're gonna get there, but first I want to talk about character customization. When it comes to builds and tinkering, just how much control do you have over your character? Well, I'm going to take you through that right now. So when you look at your inventory, you are going to have a helmet, body armor, gauntlets, boots, weapon, offhand, potion, ring, and amulet. And I gotta say, they actually do a really good job on the 2D art matching the 3D render, and then actually, of course, seeing it in game. Again, the game is absolutely gorgeous. They don't do inventory Tetris, which actually I like. Every item is the exact same size when it goes into your inventory, which is right here. And a lot like Diablo 4, you don't have to worry about crafting materials because it all automatically transfers in, which is an amazing quality of life for the game. So all your materials just go right into your crafting stash. And on here, it'll show your knight, it'll show power, defense, and health. But wait, there's more. The skill system for Dragonkin The Banished reminds me a lot of Undecember. It's kind of this honeycomb shape where you fit in the different skills and the different supports. For Dragonkin, they call it the Ancestral Grid. And on here, when you're playing the game, you will find these different fragments. Some of them are just supports, some of them are actually different skills that you can switch in and out, and you try to make them shape, and you try to shape them correctly so that as many skills are using those supports. And you'll see here that I need to hit level 40 to unlock these, level 45 here, level 50. As you level, your Ancestral Grid gets bigger. Now, let me show you an example of this, okay? Here is one of my skills. This is Valiant Charge. And it's actually one of my favorite skills in the game because you can kind of move around and hit enemies with it. Very, very cool skill, okay? Let's say I don't want Valiant Charge anymore. We pop that out of our Ancestral Grid, and we want Intense Propulsion. And boom, now we've got our new skill. And now instead of our charge, bam, we've got this like fire lance skill that goes after the enemy. Again, very, very cool looking skill. But that is how easy it is to switch skills in and out. But of course, if you're min-maxing and you're trying to get everything to work together, it's probably going to take a lot of fine-tuning. Now, one last thing on the Ancestral Grid, you'll see here that if you highlight over a skill, it's going to pop up all the supports that are working for said skill. So on Magnetic Shield, this is spinning shields around you. Set of hammers, you have shields. You see exactly what's working on your Ancestral Grid, and those supports actually transfer over to the tooltip in front of me, so you could see the damage per second, and you could see what modifiers are actually on the said skill. Very, very cool. But wait, there's more. Now let's move over to the passives. So in this game, you're going to have a lot of passive points as you level up. And what's great is you could freely move them. So respec without needing to spend anything. You could do it in real time. And on here, you will have access to courage, intelligence, resilience, and agility. And you could see that the highlighted kind of what it gives you or what it focuses on shows you on the right-hand side. Now, for example, courage, what we are leveling into, as you level your passives, it is going to unlock these little trees to the right. Again, kind of reminds me of the skill tree for Diablo 4 because the Diablo 4 skill tree is so small. But ultimately here, once we hit 10 points into courage, you could go into increase basic damage. You can go into increase main skill damage, or you can go into increase damage to close targets. So now I went close targets. Then I hit 25 points. I can go in to reduce cooldown of potions or increase blocking and total bonus. So you get the idea. You could fine tune your passives and what you get with your passives based upon the points. And again, you decide you hate courage, you could pull points out of there and you could go into intelligence, and now you could pick something over here. So very, very neat when it comes to the passive system. I love that it's so easy to respec. We want that one. Okay, but wait, there's more. There's also a full talent system. And this, I don't know, I don't want to say it's like your ascendancy, like the divine avatar, or you want to go into danger or heroism. But ultimately, there's going to be certain gems that you can get, and you could apply that into preacher, or precision, or squad leader. And this is going to give you added damage or stamina or energy. There's a million of these different talents that you could also spec into for the game. But wait, there's more. There's also your wormling, and that's this little dragon right here. And your dragon is a companion that's going to be following you around, that's going to give you different synergies on your skill. That's why these skills are blinking, because they synergize with my wormling. And ultimately, it's just another way to buff your character through this little pet follower that everybody is going to get. And what's really cool about the wormling is you can easily switch them out. So if you want the frost wormling, or if you want fire, or you want toxic, or you want lightning, you have the different wormlings that you can equip that give you further ways to modify your character. Very, very nice. And while we are talking about wormlings, you might have seen what I just did. This is your city. Probably a good transition. So that's all the modifications you can have for your character. This is your city that you're going to be upgrading inside of Dragonkin The Banished. And what's great is that this actually is a fairly large city, but you have fast travel. So as you can see, we just went to the Dragon's Jail, but let's say I want to go to the Apothecary. We'll just pop over here and we just transferred there. And now we are all the way at the bottom of our map, which is really, really cool. Now in here, there's different NPCs that actually offer you crafting. And on here, if I wanted to upgrade my crafting, I got to have the different things to actually craft a new potion. And this is pretty limited in the version of Dragonkin that I have, but you will see that this is where you would craft your potions. If you want to craft your jewelry, we can go to the jeweler. We just fast traveled there, and it'll show you if I want this rarity green ring, click on it, and then it pulls up my crafting materials. Bam, bam. But I don't have the final material here. So I've got the secondary stat, the main stat, but I don't have the crafting material I need to pick. And it's deterministic crafting. So for example, I want max HP. I want critical strike damage. And I want intelligence. If I had the crafting materials, it would pop out that green rarity ring with intelligence, critical strike damage, and max HP. It's just ensuring you actually have the crafting materials. So that's crafting. That is the city and the different things you can do. You got a dark merchant here too for buying and selling items. And you got to see character customization. Let's show off some combat. We are now logged into the one endgame system that I currently have access to, which is called Dungeon Purification. And this one is very, very simple. You're in the dungeon. If you're an ARPG vet, you'll get it. You kill enough enemies to fill this bar, fill the bar, portal pops up, go in the portal, kill the boss and all the enemies, and get a reward. Now, the difference between this and like the pit on Diablo 4 is that enemies will actually drop loot while you are running around and crafting materials. This is how I got my legendary shield when I was playing earlier. Now, before I show you combat, I want to talk about March 6 early access, how many endgame systems I'm being told is coming to Dragonkin The Banished. I'm being told there'll be 5. So again, always subject to change. The hunting board, predetermined quests/hunts with different levels of difficulties, custom hunts with your choice between 9 maps, 2 dungeons, and 2 bosses, and 3 other endgame activities, dungeon purification, which we are in, the only thing I have access to, boss fights, and test of will. So hopefully the endgame for Dragonkin feels really, really good. So let's show off some combat. My favorite skill in the game, this little lance skill. And then we're gonna run around and hit them with some spinning shields. Now this game is a generator spender, which isn't my favorite, but what I do like is that you can decouple the generator from movement. So literally the first thing I did was I made it where movement is on my left click, my generator's on my right click. So at least they're not tied to the same one. This game is also going to offer WASD movement. Jeez, you can't die right at the beginning. The game's going to offer WASD movement, full controller support, and point and click. So you can play the way you want. Take that. Game's going to launch with 3 playable classes. The Barbarian, like your melee spin to win. The Knight, which is what I am playing right now. Don't die. And the Oracle, which is basically your spellcaster. All right, we're good. These dudes right here, tough. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. Can't die right at the beginning. So ultimately, your generator for the Knight class, at least, is this lightning that I have synergized with my Wormling. So we make these little lightning bolts. And then my fire skills, this little like build up, is on the right side of the mana bar, the energy bar. And that fills over time, which I'm sure there's going to be ways to modify as you get deeper into the game. So ultimately, I can use my lance skill right here to run around freely. I've got my generator. I've got my shield skill that spins around me. I've got my flamethrower. And then I've got my build-up shot. Bam. And right now, we're 36% of the way to our boss. So I'll show you some combat. And then hopefully we could just jump to the end. Ooh, that's a big... He's mean. Let's get our shield spinning. Booyah! I hope we run into one of these frogs. They got these frogs you gotta fight. They have the biggest after death I've ever seen. This is like huge frog explosion. This is Dungeon Purification. %45 of the way. Smoked. Spin to win. Don't come on the bridge. Man, combat feels so good. And again, I haven't had the ability to make my own build yet. These are just predetermined builds or builds they made for me. Take that. Ran into a dead end. Okay, so you got a good idea. You got to see my skills. You got to see some combat. Let's jump to the end of the dungeon purification. We have made it to the end, and I get to show you the frog death. Watch this. Look at this. Look at the size of that. I hate after death. All right, we've pulled our portal. We're going in. What do we got? Oh, we're already dying. All right, so this thing in the middle is just going to keep spewing out enemies and pulling you in. Don't die. Ooh, we're sure going to die. That's it. Light them up. You're all on fire. Ooh. What's good is the movement skill can pull me out. We're gonna go all shield spinning. Probably the best AoE for all the enemies around. Get away from the center. The dragon! Look, Dragonkin. See all the dragons? Now you guys understand the name. All right, so far so good. Uh-oh. All right, I think this is it. Just kill the dragon. Gosh. No. Almost got him. Just run in circles. Done. We have purified the dungeon. Would you look at that? Come here to the center. 3 rewards. 1, 2, 3. Looks like we've got some hex fragments that is legendary, and some gauntlets. Plus 58 armor, plus 87 block damage, plus 8. Thank you very much. There's an upgrade. And then if we go over to our fragments, is this what we just found? Explosive death wormling fire. Is that what we found? I think that's what we found. So explosive death, guessing that's for our fire wormling. I think that's the one we just found that is a higher rarity. So that's pretty cool. You now saw one endgame system. So overall thoughts on Dragonkin The Banished. What are my first impressions? Now remember, this is pre-early access. Of course, there's going to be a ton of stuff that I want and that the game is going to need, but I think this game has tremendous promise. The amount of character customization inside of Dragonkin for being able to tinker and change your character looks very, very promising. The visuals in the game, I'm telling you, this video does not do it justice. It's going to instantly be one of the best visual games you will play. I haven't seen any pay-to-win garbage inside of Dragonkin. WASD movement, point and click, controller support, coming to console, co-op. You're going to have your own little city builder in here as well. 5 endgame systems. I haven't even got to see the campaign yet, and multiple classes to pick from. I think we might have a new player on the ARPG mountain. But again, it is very, very early. I actually need to get the demo early access copy of Dragonkin in my hands. But everything I've played so far has made me very hopeful and again, very promising for this game. So I want to know your opinion. Do you think Dragonkin is a game you could sink your teeth into? Is there anything in here you really like? Is there anything in here you don't like? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe if you think I have earned it. I'll be live on Air in Action RPG on Twitch today, playing live Dragonkin The Banished so that you can see all the classes and prologues, and I'll be able to answer questions live. Check out the Discord, almost 4,500 members. We cover all things action RPG, game giveaway or merch giveaway every couple weeks. We do movie nights, game nights. The Discord is an awesome place to hang out. I'm done. I hope you enjoyed this video or at least learned something. Aaron, out.